My girl, my mates, I can never fucking work for this. Always the wave, I made the lane and I nurtured it. And now you wanna talk like I never fucking deserved this shit. Like you don't mean good to me, like I never wrote picture me. Literally, half the people pissing me, ain't ever done a thing for me. It must be really different. This is stress, I can see how hate the shit I'm saying when I flex. Feelings of my ex, they rush me, I'm saying just for sex. But I wonder what was playing on your head when you were playing on my bed. I'm just saying no offense, and shoot the ball, don't be silent. Using music for girl, side road, I'm doing things of minor, I don't care. I'm lonely and I'm fired up. The 20 just this is the one on my rider. It's me. The person that treats you like a higher, treats you like a baby. Send my music like silk is inspired. I'm more like African insider. I'm lonely and nothing more. 88 minutes and then I'm more. I love you for this moment. Cause I'm gonna dash, I'll let her live. Underscore, hungry to breathe. These girls always want something more. It's so annoying. I'm here for you things that sound creepy like royalty. Less than 3 days while you asking for my loyalty. Look at what we went and done. I could have been anyone. This is something that I've never done. Say that line to everyone from 17 to 21. The night table and the checklist, breathing in a pillow, some cool and a necklace. You telling me that every single person you connect with can whisper in your ear and then just get beside your best bitches. Now, I don't believe that brings me the confidence. I take my insecurities and hide them in confidence. Love me for me, he's carving in our souls. What's why I'm trying to sell seeds 100 degrees.
Explaining complex topics can be challenging. Highlight the text you want to simplify and let Grammarly rewrite it. Grammarly makes your message clear so it's understood. Download it for free at Grammarly.com. When you're in trouble, change time before going down
Sal. Sal. أعلى من جوال منه. أعلى من جوال منه.
Thank you.
Rise up for solo. I show me the solo standing.
Mic check. 1 2 1 2 1 2 mic check 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 1 2 1 2 1 2 mic check 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 mic check 1 2 mic check 1 2 1 2 1 2 mic check 1 2 mic check 1 2 1 2
so lu nekk di def yëpp man maa ngi koy gis taban so léegi si ñii laa ko bëgg a puus dama ko yóbbu ma xool ban channel la nekk so yow léegi da ngaa dem sa caméra di def yëpp man maa ngi koy gis
mic check 1 2 1 2 mic check 1 2 mic check 1 2 mic check
Salut.
Because one man with conviction is stronger than a regime with guns. Gambia, remember his name. Teach your children his name. His freedom has a price, and the sorrow paid it. Rise up and solo and all boys and girls, bring the flag and sing. I will fail, but that's the thing. Walk for freedom and never bend. Leave the soul for every Gambian. Leave the soul for every Gambian. We never forget his name. Solo standing in front of flame. We marched in silence with banners high. Eyes on the future under Gambia's sky. No weapons on, no fist in air. Just hope and truth and the lion's lair. They came with cups, they came with rage. Locked him in a torture cage. But what they broke was not his bones. It was the power that crumbles stone by stone. Rise up and solo, raise your voice and shout. Let the pirates shut us out. That voice, that voice. Now let's set fire, never cease. Under Sebastian town, the spirit walks it, won't back down. His name is Austin, justice book. In every step that we took, he stood. So we could finally choose. So we could bold and never lose. He stood and said this and that. And his courage paid
fought for freedom and never ran. He gave his soul for every and beyond. He gave his soul for every and beyond. He never forget his name. Solo stand and eternal flame. Rise up the solo, raise your voice and shout. Let the fire shut us out. He died for truth, he died for peace. Now let that fire never cease. Rise up for solo, a tremendous solo stand game. He didn't carry a gun, he carried courage. He didn't shout war, he whispered peace, and still they fear him. Because the truth is louder than bullets. Because one man with conviction is stronger than a regime with guns. 𝐓𝐇𝐄, remember his name, teach your children his name. Because freedom has a price, and Saul paid it. Rise up to solo and all falling heroes. Raise your flag and sing, are you rebel? Let us free. Fought for freedom and never ran. He gave his soul for every 𝐓𝐇𝐄. He gave his soul for every 𝐓𝐇𝐄. We never forget his name. Solo stand and eternal flame. He marched in silence with banners high. Eyes on the future under 𝐓𝐇𝐄 sky. No weapon drawn, no fist in air. Just hope and truth and the lions there. They came with guns, they came with rage. Locked him in a torture cage. But what they found was not his bones. It was the power that crumbles. Oh my soul, rise up for solo. Raise your voice and shout. Let no pirate shut us out. He died for truth, he died for peace. Now let that fire never cease. Serakunda to Basay town. His spirit walks, it won't back down. His name is carved in justice book. In every brave step that we took, he stood so we could finally choose. So we could hold and never lose. He stood and said this ends today. And his courage paved the way. Freedom isn't free. Truth is a legacy of a Rise up for solo, a tremendous solo stand game. He didn't carry a gun, he carried courage. He didn't shout war, he whispered peace, and still they fear him. Because the truth is louder than bullets. Because one man with conviction is stronger than a regime with guns. 𝐓𝐇𝐄, remember his name, teach your children his name. Because freedom has a price, and Saul paid it. Rise up for solo and all falling heroes. Raise your flag and sing, are you rebel? Let us free. Fought for freedom and never ran. He gave his soul for every 𝐓𝐇𝐄. He gave his soul for every 𝐓𝐇𝐄. We never forget his name. Solo stand and eternal flame. He marched in silence with banners high. Eyes on the future under 𝐓𝐇𝐄 sky. No weapon drawn, no fist in air. Just hope and truth and the lions there. They came with guns, they came with rage. Locked him in a torture cage. But what they found was not his bones. It was the power that crumbles. Oh my soul, rise up for solo. Raise your is carved in justice book. In every step that we took, he stood so we could finally choose, so we could vote and never lose. He stood and said this ends today, and his courage paved the way. Freedom isn't free. Rise up for Solo, a tremendous solo standing. He didn't carry a gun, he carried courage. He didn't shout war, he whispered peace, and still they fear him. Because the truth is louder than bullets. Because one man with conviction, stronger than a regime with guns. Gambler, remember his name, teach your children his name. Because freedom has a price, and Solo paid it.
Hello? Yeah.
Rise up for Solo, a tremendous solo standing. He didn't carry a gun, he carried courage. He didn't shout war, he whispered peace, and still they fear him. Because the truth is louder than bullets. Because one man with conviction is stronger than a regime with guns. Gambler, remember his name, teach your children his name. His freedom has a price, and Solo paid it.
You have 20 people in your college. 20 people in your watch. So both faces will on YouTube together. Camera talent.
Rise up for solo. I took the solo that day. He didn't carry a gun, he carried courage. He didn't shout war, he whispered peace, and still they feared him. Because the truth is louder than bullets. Because one man with conviction is stronger than a regime with guns. 𝐓𝐇𝐄, remember his name. Teach your children his name. His freedom has a price, and so pay it. In every first step that we took, he stood so we could finally choose, so we could go and never lose. Stood and said this and his courage paved the way. Freedom is free. solo, a tribute solo standing. He didn't carry a gun, he carried courage. He didn't shout war, he whispered peace, and still they feared him. Because the truth is louder than bullets. Because one man with conviction, stronger than a regime with guns. 𝐓𝐇𝐄, remember his name, teach your children his name. His freedom has a price, and so pain.
Good evening, guys. Thank you very much for being here. I just want to thank you especially for taking the time to be here very early and also having the patience to wait while we wait on the others. You may know there was an event yesterday which attracted a lot of other people, and that might also take into the time. But as we see, the crowd is building up and it's looking like it's going to be an interesting evening. We just want to thank you for being here, and then we're about to start. Just to say, the MC is going to be here soon. Thank you very much. And by the way, my name is Mohammed Sandeng of the Solar Sandeng Foundation. I just want to say I'm happy to be here with you guys and also the opportunity to do this. So we look forward to a beautiful evening. Thank you.
Hello everyone, thank you so much for showing up. Fortunately, we have one bodybuilder in front here. You know, I don't know them for coming to events on time, but unfortunately, she came here on time. Yeah. As you can see, we do not have a lot of people yet, and if we want to wait, it's gonna eat into our time. So what we're gonna do is we have some videos that we will play, you know, before the main event starts. These were things that we intended to play earlier, but we're gonna play them right now. Sorry, later, but we're gonna play them right now so that people can watch them as the crowd builds up. All right, Mr. Sedi, welcome. Well, Mr. Sedi, welcome. You and your team.
Hello, how are you, sir?
Thank you so much for saying
Hey! Salut! Back and forth. Salut!
Assalamualaikum Gambia, man la seen doomu ndey Mamadou Mbengue bu ngeen ma xamee ci Skifa Barham. Man di liggéey for a newspaper on 14 April 2016. Peaceful protest bi nga xam ne dafa nekk solo coopérative ci Jakaranda. Ñi ma interview Solo Sallé man maa fekkee ñu arrêté Solo Sallé. Man nag dañ may defoon ndigal kooku suma editor-in-chief si foyer newspaper ñu am nañu seen respi loolu ñu nga xam ne seen gëstu.
Once again, everyone, thank you so much for coming. Can we come forward a little bit, please?
Yeah, let's feel the
Yeah, let's fill the front seats. Bro, yes, he come to you. Yeah. Thank you so much. Yeah, thank you guys so much. Let's fill the front space. Yes, we want to see all the honorables in front. Yeah, fill the gaps. Mr. Sedi, come on.
Son.
We're happy to have you on the front.
Guys, thank you so much for showing up. Now I understand we have a busy schedule. A lot of things are going on, and Mr. Sedi, you and your team had something going on yesterday. Thank you for taking time out of your schedule, and everybody here, Omar and all of you, we are so grateful to have you guys here. Unfortunately, we're starting about an hour late, so that means we're going to cut into some of the things that we intended to present. We are here for one reason. One guy, one man, one person sacrificed his life, his legacy, and everything for our country. You can't talk about the New Gambia without mentioning his name. You can't talk about the New Gambia without bringing him up. He bond us together, and because of that, everybody in the country, right, deserve to see what he has done, and that is why we are here, to screen the event. I know some people in Gambia have seen it, but the diaspora, we believe, is also a constituent of the country. In fact, it is one of the most important constituents. Right? They play a huge role, not only finance or economy, but other things. Right? Bringing them together to see what had happened, it's an important thing for us. Right? Without wasting much of our time, I'll have Mohammed to talk about the partnership we have with West African Center, and then we'll have Pamela Juve as well to talk about the things that they have done with us to make this event a success.
Thank you very much, Abu Bakar. Good evening once again, and thank you very much, my uncles, the Mr. Cises and the Makam Souls, and everyone else for being here. And also I want to thank my friends and my colleagues for also being here, and the rest of the crowd. I want to say a big thank you also to the West African Center, the Washington West African Center, under Pausman's leadership, for allowing us to access this venue. When we first came here, when I came here to Washington, all I had is a documentary, right, that I had produced back home with the team, the Solar Sending Foundation. Backstory about the Solar Sending Foundation, and you all will have the opportunity once you get into the website to know, so we would not bore you with going into detail with that. But what the Solar Sending Foundation tried to do is to create memory, right? To create material that will feed into the public memory. We realized this whole thing, again, backstory about the Solar Sending Foundation, came about, like Abu Bakar mentioned, through the commitment out of a guy, not just one guy, but a guy who led a group of people who have the same commitment like him. In a small country, the Gambia, where most of us come from, and we know for a fact, historically, we know the challenges that we faced in Gambia. And this man, who happened to be my father, had the conviction, which I know firsthand what it means, and what I would say forced me to do what I do today. He had the conviction to show the people, to show everyone else, and to stand up for the rights and to stand up for the liberties of everybody who lived in that country called the Gambia. And he knew no bounds about it, and that's why today we know a man who is no more as Solar Sending, who is like he lives today, right? And that commitment he had with a bunch of other people They went out on April 14th, 2016. When they were leaving the house, I was 19 years old, and my father, the last things he told me was for me not to tell anybody where we were, right? Because I had the responsibility to carry my young siblings and my mom to somewhere safe, and then we had to do that. Eventually, I thought we were going to see our father again, but we didn't. Long story short, every Gambian here, everybody who has access to the internet can really verify and understand the story, so I wouldn't go much into that detail. But coming to the story of this documentary called Solo Sending for the Love of Country, the intention with the Solo Sending Foundation is to contribute to the public memory in that country. 22 years of brutal dictatorship, there needs to be acknowledgement, but we cannot have this acknowledgement if we don't have a public memory that really tells the real stories of the people, of the events behind what we have today as a democratic country. That the space has opened up. A lot of different things are in the Gambian political space, but one thing that is also important in my perspective and the views of many other people is that we must create a public memory that we can look back at and understand where we are as a country, and then we will also have information or something that we can really use to fight ahead as a country. That's the whole idea of the documentary. And fast forward, PAR, we don't have anything in the US. We reached out to PAR to do this documentary screening, and PAR said he would offer this space, the West African Center, to us. And we know it is welcoming to connected with the Gambian community, with the West African community, and we thought it's an opportunity. No matter how small the number may be, when it's done up, we just want to have this documentary shown to a lot of people as much as we can. And that's why we're here today. I just want you all to put your hands together and thank PAR and every one of yourselves for being here today to support us, the family of Solo Sending, and the people that believe in the Solo Sending. Thank you.
Thank you, Mohammed. PAR, thank you so much for everything you've done. We know you are well connected with the community and you've been helpful to everyone. So please, we would like you to say a few words to the people here and some of the work that you do for the West African, especially the Gambian community. I'll be very biased to mention Gambia,
Thank you very much, Abubakar. Good evening to you all. My name is Pa Osman Diouf, and I am the founder and the executive director of the Washington West African Center, where we are. This is, of course, our home. We have two offices. One is about 5 minutes away from here, on 164th, and this is the second office. This serves as the administrative office, while the other one is our drop-in center, where we provide several different cultural relevant wraparound services. I am Gambian, a proud one. I'm an immigrant, a proud one. I'm a Muslim, a proud one. And I am unapologetic for all the things that I identify as. What inspired me to create this is not by coincidence, but by sheer providence. I came to the US in 2004, like probably all of us here from the Gambia. I came here to represent the Gambia at an international conference at the Brigham Young University in Salt Lake City, Utah. And of course, I didn't go back. I will be happy to share my story of why I didn't and all the things that happened back then. But fast forward to today, I only became a US citizen in 2022. Almost 18 years of struggles in this country. So this is not something that I create just out of the blues. In 2008, 4 years after I came to the US, I was arrested and detained by ICE and kept in jail in Alabama for 4 months, released on an order of supervision and put on a monitoring bracelet for 9 solid months. And the quest for independence, I have shared this story a few times, but my quest for independence to get that bracelet off of my leg is what led me to move to Alaska, in 2010, where I stayed for 5 years and eventually moved down here with my family. Those things that I wanted back then that I didn't have access to. When I left Atlanta, I was on eviction. On rent. I could not even pay my bills. I had to move from my apartment to my sister's house. So my family did finance a single room while I sleep in the living room. Food to eat was a problem for me. And I remember in Alaska when I went to Sam's Club to shop and had to take a jar of mayonnaise, which I use as a piggy bank. It fell, it dropped, it clipped, and the jar, all the coins scattered. An embarrassing moment where everybody turned around looking at me. The cashier had to shut down her register to help me pick my coins. That day, somebody helped me pay my bills for me. All I needed was a few diapers for my baby, my daughter who is now 16. All I needed was a few groceries to feed my family, which I didn't have. Those struggles is what led me to open this out of my living room in Everett. So if somebody comes here, they need housing. I know what that feels like because I was without housing at some point. If somebody comes here, they need food. I know what was that like because it reminds me of that famous day at the Sam's Club in Alaska over 10 years ago. If somebody comes here, they want their light bill to be paid. I know what that feels like because my life was disconnected in Atlanta, Georgia, where my family and I had to put on spotlights or light candles. When we took all our food out of our refrigerator to take it to my sister's house in Calais, Georgia. So all the services we provide here is not just by accident. There are things that I lived and want to make sure my people have access to. I want them to be a shoulder to lean on. I see myself as somebody that God puts me through a lot of tests, and I use those tests to support my community, to make sure I serve as an advocate, and that people do not go through those things that I went through, or if they are going through it, they have a shoulder to lean on. I'm currently dealing with that. As most of you may be aware that I lost Fatu Samba in the Gambia. And without a doubt, I'm going through lots of bullying and harassment for grieving the way that I want to. Only if you know how many people are reaching out to me around the world. People who would have grieved the way they wanted to grieve because they lose a loved one. And our community, our people would tell them, do definitely, kana nyike, go to definitely, can do joy, can do me. I will say it here. If I feel like crying right now, I will cry without looking at anybody's eyes. Because I'm not doing it for anyone. So I always serve as that person that serves as an example that goes through trials and tribulations and stuff to help my family, to help my community, to help my people. And left and right, believe it or not, I am having people reach out to me who could relate to what I am dealing with. These are the type of things we provide here. Different kinds of services. This place is open to the public. People use it to host different type of events. We use it to host events. We help people with housing. If you go out there, you will see the different flyers we create. Only if right now as we speak, we have leasing agreements with about 4 different apartment complexes here in the area where we put people, our people that come here that are undocumented, that would not typically qualify for any type of housing assistance because of their immigration status. Or even if they qualify, they do not have the money, they do not have the income threshold or the credit that is required to get an apartment. Don't they deserve housing? Unfortunately, those are not services that you see us putting out there every day because we provide those to the people with dignity and respect and integrity. When somebody needs food, you will not see us giving somebody a voucher, but we have a partnership with the different African grocery stores here that if somebody needs food, you can come to us and we can give you a voucher to go to Jomma store, to go to DJU store, to go to Yami store in Marysville. Ask them, we have an MOU with them. You can come here and we give you a voucher to go there and pick food. Those things are not things you see on social media. The only things that we will put out there is when we have events like this, when we have, the Back to School, our Sounds of Africa Festival, and those things that are, of course, fund-like, but not the actual services that we provide that are geared towards preserving somebody's dignity. Every Monday and Wednesday you come here, you will see us having an ESL class. We have different people, not only Africans, even Spanish people that come here to attend ESL classes every Monday and Wednesday. For those who don't know how to read, speak, or write English. We also have an after-school program and a summer camp for kids between 5 to 16 years old, and we do this for both here and King County. In a nutshell, we are a statewide agency that provides different services. The Seattle Gambian Grammar Association, yesterday at the UDP event, I hear Sadie and them thanking the grammars. I helped the grammars to create that. It's an independent body from WAWA. And this was from the desire to have a platform where our parents, to have a place where they can interact, they can come together, a support group. That's how it started. So my movie, she gets bored a lot of times not having any place to go. When these grandmas come together, only if you see the joy in them, they are well respected now. They continue to say, Sunupa Usman Indi will come together, this will never happen. And it was through the back to school that we organized that I invited one person to the back to school. They said, oh, I cannot come, but I'll be out of town, but my mom will be here. If she can get a ride, she can come. I said, I'll give a ride to that grandma who told me my neighbor also would need a ride to come with her grandkids. And that person with the next person, before you know it, I have about 5 grandmas who were interested to come with their grandkids. And I couldn't call each of them individually. That was how their current group, which has over 160 members, came into being. Because I created it, before you know it, you started hearing, they carry, follow. They started just giving me more numbers. And before I knew it, somebody announced in their group that we met our president. And our boy said, I cannot do this alone, I need help. That was how I gathered them to put together an executive, which still continues to be what it is. They are independent. All Gambian organizations invite them. All Gambian institutions invite them to their events. They deserve dignity and respect, and they are now respected, and their voices are heard, and they are included in any and everything that happens in this place. The UDP event yesterday being the latest. I saw them there, and they were very happy to be there. A couple of weeks ago, the Gambian organization organized the 4th of July. They were there. They are now given a voice. That is what we do here. We do a lot of outreach and advocacy. This is a platform, a civil organization, civil society organization that does a lot of work. We partner with a lot of government from the city, county, and state level, and even at federal level. And when Mohammed and Fatmata reached out to me, I told them, we will be very happy to partner with you. Fortunately, both of them are people I have been connected with. Out of my heart as the executive director of this center, I'm a journalist, and everybody knows that. I found that I'm on Gambian Talents promotion. Mohammed is somebody I have been interviewing when he was very young, when his father was killed in 2016. This is the first time I'm seeing him when he came to Seattle, but I've interviewed him so many times. When he was in Gambia and in Senegal and different places. Fatmata, my relationship with her dated days back to when she was with Humanity Stars. I interviewed her so many times, and that relationship continued. But even if it is not for the relationship, Solo Sandeng contributed for Gambia. Today, we are all enjoying what we are enjoying, and could even travel freely to go in and out of the Gambia because he put his life down for that country, and we need to recognize that. His family deserve to be recognized, they deserve to be supported, and I wish we could do more for him. Unfortunately, Mohammed does not have a long time in the US. We would have been able to do a lot more. Just a few days ago, this week alone, we received Representative 𝐒𝐿𝐿, a state representative for Washington State. 3 days ago, the mayor of Monte Terres was here. We have different dignitaries that I would have loved to take him around for us to interact and introduce the foundation, but this is just the beginning. Yesterday, on Sunday, we officially signed an MOU with them. I mean, that served as the beginning of our greater collaboration. The screening of this documentary is the first thing, and this is the least we can do for you. So thank you, Mohammed and Fatmata, and the rest of the Solo-Sandeng team. This is not work that started today. We have met for several months, and I want to congratulate you for bringing this documentary to Washington. I'm looking forward to more partnership with you. If you want to know more about the Washington West African Center, we have more information there, and you can see my media team streaming this documentary or this event live. They'll be happy to give you more information, or you can visit our website, www.wawac.org. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mohammed. Thank you, Paul. Thank you so much. Like you said, you've been very helpful from the beginning, and we could not have done this without you. Next on the agenda, we're going to talk about the end of year report, the things that we have done in the past year, 2024. What were the things that the Solo-Sandeng Foundation has done? But before I call Mohammed to talk about that, I want us to think about this, which is the legacy of Solo. He died for a cause. That's a fact. Now the question is, are we ready to live for that cause? He died for a cause. The question is, are we ready to live for that cause? And what does it mean to live for the cause he died for? Number one, are we willing to spend our time and our money for the cause he died for? Are we willing to be publicly maligned and slandered for the cause he died for? Are we willing to be uncomfortable for the cause he died for? Are we willing to be ignored? And are we willing to repeat our message over and over and over and over again for the cause he died for? And are we willing to take multiple steps, or maybe one step forward and be pushed back 150 steps backward? If your answer is yes, then welcome, because this is what is going to happen. When you stand for something, that's when you're going to get a lot of pushback. But you have to be strong, right, for him, right? So Mohammed will talk about the works we did in continuation of that legacy and living for the legacy he died for. All right, Mohammed, the floor is yours.
Thanks, Abubakar. Like I mentioned, over the years, again, a little background. The Solo-Sandeng Foundation was established on the 1st anniversary of Solo-Sandeng's death. That year, we decided to establish the foundation to remember the legacy of Solo-Sandeng and his colleagues. There's a lot of other people that went out with Solo-Sandeng, and I feel like I do a disservice to myself anytime I even merely forget any of their names. People like 𝐓𝐇𝐄 𝐒𝐋𝐎. I remember these people, and a lot of them, like the Fatmata Jawaras, the Falan Sonkos, and all of these people, these were people I remember, I have an experience with. And their conviction really inspires me beyond anything.
We have some refreshments back there in case you are thirsty or you want something to snack on. So,
right, I forgot to do that. Well, thanks, Pa. So the thing is about these people is that they had a conviction and they really made it happen. And so we had the intention to create this organization to remember their legacy through advocacy, because we must remember that they were really advocating for policy reforms, right? They were advocating to have electoral rules reform. And we still have this issue as a burning issue in the Gambia. We still have the Gambian diaspora not able to vote, even though they have constitutional rights to do that. We still have hurdles. And so as an advocacy organization, we work to see that we break the barriers towards opening up the civic space. And in that, we have done a couple of activities, a number of activities over the year, and we also want to show what we have done to our compatriots out here. And that's the reason why we have the ELE plan. And it's just a great summary, like a very much summarized part of what happened over the year. And we just wanted to share it with you. Basically, we did the first comprehensive annual report. As an organization that started off with basically no jealousy, just people who believed in the story of our father, just like we did, and we came up with that. It took us 7 years to be able to establish a physical office. We have worked 7 years online. So far, during the 7 years, we have been able to achieve multiple projects that really contribute to what we have today. As a side note, I would say one of our greatest milestones that I like to brag about for the Soul Sending Foundation is that we advocated to have the Prevention and Prohibition of Torture Act enacted. We did advocacy with the parliamentarians, and as a success story for us, it was possible to come to light. So I would say that that is another motivation to see that what we do would really give an impact. And so we have that also part of our annual report, and major steps towards transparency and impact. We also had made justice efforts, digital growth, and also on our community education part, we're also making progress on that part. And this is a little reflection from somebody that's not here, but who I think also plays a great role in making our mission possible. That is Fatimata, who is my sister. But also in 2017, we had the dream of co-creating this organization, and we do. And I'd just like to share her reflection with us that the foundation advanced its mission to honor soul sending by promoting justice, accountability, and victim rights in the Gambia. We collaborated with government, and our collaborations improved, especially around areas of security sector reform, which we all know is also another issue that needs to be dealt with in the Gambia. As we enter into 2025, which we are already in, we remain dedicated to making never again a lively reality, a lived reality for a just and peaceful Gambia. Never again, for those that do not know, is the mantra of the TRRC. The TRRC documented the 22-year dictatorship, and the mantra is that we do not have to have what happened again. No tortures and no extrajudicial killings. And that's the mantra there. We also went on to do strengthening our capacity. So over the years, we have done capacity strengthening. We've also promoted rights and justice through rights education. We've engaged lots of communities in the Gambia. The data is there and you'll get to see it. We've engaged them using our photo exhibitions that highlighted victims of torture from all walks of life in the Gambia, not just politicians, not just journalists, but also everybody from all walks of life. And we tried to do that to also raise awareness to the prevalence of torture and the need to put an end to that. Victims and CSOs. We have a community in the Gambia that emerged as a result of the prolonged dictatorship and the human rights violations that obtained. And we have a community of victims, about 2,000 plus, who all suffered different forms of human rights violations during the course of the dictatorship. And this victim community today is who we advocate for to receive reparations, to receive the medical care that they need. Because the Jammeh government, the dictatorship used to be a murderous regime, a torturous one, and so it has a lot of implications health-wise, especially on these victims, and they need urgent care. So most of the donations that would ask from you today would really go towards supporting our initiatives, which also include providing assistance for some of these victims, not in a large scale, but there is a medical board in the Gambia that is set up by the government of the Gambia to support victims. But victims have challenges to access this medical board, to access the medical services that this medical board provides. And we hope and we intend to be an agency to be able to support the victims as we do in our little ways, but also through your donations to be able to support this course, to get them at least to be able to access the medical board. In terms of capacity building, we build our staff. We have an 8 to 10 man staff, some of whom work remotely. They live overseas. Some people live in the Gambia and others live overseas. Like I said earlier, we were able to establish a physical office just last year. And so for the most part, our work used to be done online. So we then thought about doing capacity strengthening and also creating a website where we can have everyone access the work of the foundation, no matter where you are. We also optimized our advisory board. We, like I said, when we set this organization up, we were very inexperienced about a lot of things. We made sure to seek guidance from experts in various fields. And some of these people, I'm sure most of you recognize. We have the Mohamed Jagana of JFIN Money Transfer in Gambia. We have 𝐒𝐋𝐿 who is a lawyer and a former parliamentarian. We also have Dr. 𝐒𝐋𝐿 who we all know as a human rights advocate and also a former information minister. Mamadou Lamin is also a part of the board, and he is a part of the Africans Rising movement, one of the biggest movements in Africa. And Mamadou Lamin Sedigan is also one of our greatest supporters in terms of technical advice. 𝐓𝐇𝐄 is a household name in Gambia, especially during the struggle. 𝐓𝐇𝐄 used to be one of the supporters of the Solo Sandeng family, especially morally. And she never wavered in doing that, and she continued to do that even when we had the dream of setting up the Solo Sandeng Foundation. I remember times when we spent long weekends formulating this organization and its governing principles. And 𝐓𝐶𝐄 was on the forefront doing that and organizing everybody to be present. And today she serves as our media and communications advisor. We have Jeffrey Smith, who is also a human rights advocate, American, and who used to be a good supporter of the Gambian cause back then. And he continues to do that through his support for the Solo Sandeng Foundation. And we also have Madam Evelyn Ankoma, who is also Ghanaian and a great supporter of the Gambian cause during the struggle, also a civil society figure with Africa Legal Aid. So we have these great minds to support the dream that we have, and they have been extremely instrumental to the mission of the foundation. They are part of the reason why we're able to achieve what we achieve today. Going forward, one of the reasons probably why I'm able to be here today to speak to you is as a result of our advocacy around getting perpetrators to justice, getting people that thought they could commit crimes and go scot-free. This was the situation that obtained in Gambia. And part of our mission as the Solo Sandeng Foundation is to make sure there's not impunity for these crimes that happen. And it doesn't only stop at doing it at home. It doesn't only stop with the efforts that we do in Gambia, but it also includes efforts that we do outside of the Gambia. We know justice has been a challenge for us, even in the Gambia. We've had a lot of prosecutions, recommendations that are supposed to be done, and as government works towards doing that, counterparts and partners and supporters all around the world also complement Gambia's efforts to do that. And so we join hands with counterparts from Switzerland and the US here for trials of perpetrators who really thought justice would not have caught up with them. And today we're here, we did the daily updates in 4 local languages in the Gambia to make sure information reaches the people that matter the most in terms of these trials, because they are also happening outside of the Gambia through the principle of universal jurisdiction, which helps people attain justice beyond their borders. But also there were barriers. There was a lot of people who could not speak German, and this happened in a place where, in Bellinzona, where it was So the Solar Sending Foundation was able to create translated summaries, and we also created fora where we discussed verdicts, we discussed information, so there was not much speculation about what was happening. Because what is important is also that misinformation dampened the efforts that we do back in Gambia, so it was important that message was also communicated. In the Michael Correa trial, similar things were done, as you can see, and then we created information that also give context to what happened. So moving forward, we have the Faces of Resilience exhibition that also showed 15 victims of torture in the Gambia who were victims of the dictatorship. We did this to problematize the effects of torture and the needs for reparations, the need for health care for all of these people, and also the need for laws that deter these things from happening again. And that's why we have this Faces of Resilience exhibition. You can find it on our website, www.solosending.org, where you can find all of this information. We engage also internationally with the Universal Periodic Review, which is an international mechanism to hold governments accountable, if you may say, through peer reviews. I know most of us know about that, and so we also participated in that. But what we try to do even in these international engagements is to continue advocating for the abolition of torture in the Gambia, which we think is very, very important. And also there's a bunch of TRRC recommendations which are very important to be implemented. And what we are doing here today happens to fall under one of those things. We need to hold this public forum, we need to talk to our people, but we also need to put measures in place why we will not be able to have these things repeat themselves. That was the whole overview of what we did at the UPR. And so finally, we're here. The highlight of this is that we created a 5-year strategic plan. We engaged 2,000 plus victims across various communities. We supported 2 major trials of perpetrators. We launched our website and our board, and we also contributed to dialogues at the UPR sessions, right? And so these are our partners who we have collaborated with over the past year, and we just want to also thank them. They might not be here, but it's important that we recognize these people for their support to us. We thank you very much for your kind attention. It might have been a boring one, but I hope you really got the point.
Thank you, Mohammed. A round of applause for Mohammed, please. Thank you so much for that brilliant synopsis of the work that we're doing at the Solar Sending Foundation. To learn more about Solar Sending, to learn more about the foundation, you can visit our website, and you will see some of the things that we're doing. From here, we're going to go straight to the documentary. One of the reasons why we are here, and this documentary, we believe every Gambian should see it, and then you will know what happened, and why this foundation is, moving forward and working on ensuring that Solar's legacy will live forever. Mohammed will just add some little things that we forgot to mention earlier.
Oh no, this is just a side note to say that the documentary, when you look at it, and I know the expectation for most of us is to see maybe a wider scope, but what we try to do with this documentary, if we look at the TRRC's recommendations, what we find out is that we need to really create these information and keep them out there to contribute to our public memory, right? And what we try to do with these people, first of all, the rationale behind creating this, we had a problem in the Gambia. We had a problem that labeled people who had dissenting views from the government of the day as problem makers, as troublemakers, people who were disobedient, even in the religious context, right? We had religious leaders in the Gambia that preached that having dissenting views from the government of the day is ungodly, right? And these notions, they persist until today. And I am a victim of that. I am a victim of the notion that people that really speak truth to power, people that speak truth to the government of the day are troublemakers and they want to burn that country. I am a victim of that. And the intention of this documentary is to show who Solo Sandeng was, is to show that this was a man who was as peaceful as anybody, who had children that he loved so much, and who had family that he loved. But above all of those things, he really had the conviction that even if it was his blood that was going to be shed to free a country, a lot of other people, a lot of other families, a lot of other children were not going to be orphaned, and a lot of other parents were not going to be taken away from their family, from the rest of the country. He was ready to do that, even if it meant shedding his blood, even if it meant losing his life. That is the reason why we have this documentary, to show that Solo Sandeng, to show that all the other people like him who stood up to speak truth to power were not really people who wanted to burn down the Republic of the Gambia, but were people who really saw that Gambia could have really been and could really be and can really be a better country if we had the right things in place. And that's why we have this documentary. So I just wanted to say that. It might not show you everything that happened, even though we also tried to bring in a lot of perspective. We tried to speak to a lot of actors in the Gambia, so we have like a whole rounder in this documentary. Even though we fell short of that, we were able to achieve the view, the perspective of who Solo Sandeng really was as a family man and what really drove him to the end of his life. Thank you.
What is life without meaning? What is life without purpose? Solo died because in a country of more than 2 million people, one lie grew so big that good, honest men had to trade their honor for breadcrumbs. He died because we remained silent for so long that we forgot the taste of liberty and the feeling of freedom. He died because in 1994, a little monster walked into our home and we kept him in a room and fed him. And when he grew big enough and started killing, we forgot that we had the right to say, no, Solo died. Because we killed a little bit of ourselves every time. We voted for that monster every time. We praised that monster every time. We lied against our fellow countrymen for that monster every time. We broke the law for that monster every time. We changed the law for that monster every time. We made the law for that monster, and all the times we remained silent while he broke and violated our fundamental human rights. Solo died so that you could be free. But are you? Let's go back to the very beginning, from the red earth of Busula, just a village nested beyond Bikama in the western region, only 32 kilometers from the bustle of Serekunda. Born in 1959, Ibrahim Solo Sandeng's roots ran deep in the Gambian soil, and like those roots, he grew quietly yet unshakably strong. A son, a student, and a seeker of knowledge, Solo began his education with a devotion to faith, studying the Quran in the shadows of Banjul Lindi under the guidance of Sheikh Badar Fai and with the Sheikh Ibrahim Kamal.
Solo dala ziyara bari ndemu wada kiru mole dulu be de dara kilme solo e alquran de long andum akilu dia bata na dara kono bata o dol bije ya tabang akal karan solo akilu dia bata berai akwaru do ko da foram ko mabuli ka fomi e pate ba tuwe para to another bodo adada pate ba fanan kala moya banjundi ka fomi Ibrahim Samara ade also ay alquran o be no sa ko ita master kitabu dun karam ay nabdari karam ay mukaddimat karam ay alsaldo karam pa dulong tentang ay beno bari alquran o ko ita no sa ter pada paula haji jarano alquran o ko suwa Untuk dia itu semua dia nak mudah. Dalam telefon dan pakai.
In the community of Dipakunda, he was quick to volunteer at the mosque, lending his heart and hand wherever he could.
Okay, dan saya punya mundur permit. Boleh menunjukkan India waktu berani. Ini perlu dulu. Apa itu kok? Okay, ada apa? Oleh ini perlu kap. Hanya masih bodoh kalau follow. Korada nak ada dawal. Aku ni ini pernah saya bana pernah. Kerja dengan hadal itu pun suhul. Aku ni boleh mahu nilainya dari napungan. Gaya problem tak ada ada moy. Unnya menil so den napungan. 1978.
Solo's life was built on a foundation of moral values and a deep love for humanity. As a young man, he entered the hospitality industry, working as a chef at the now Congo Beach Hotel, formerly Novotel, in the early 1980s.
Daerah mana Abuji, tahu tu bundu pun di bawah pundar rumah je. Kamu begini di bawah pundar rumah je. Umumnya, ani kota itu apa sih? Kita ambil tamu kota itu apa itu? Mistanjai. Mistanjai, itu kola tourism industry. Mistanjai, boleh solo mahu dua kola hotel.
Beyond his neighborhood, he engaged with NGOs and organizations devoted to social justice, education, and women's empowerment. The International Organization for Good Templars, Lions International, and as chairman of the Parent-Teacher Association at both Nusrat Senior Secondary School and Bakote Lower Basic School. Solo was a man of the people, a servant of causes greater than him. In the heart of this humble life, Solo found love.
Solo dafa nekkoon li koo xam ne ku faral la woon waaye ci dëgg dama xaw ma ko woon personnellement waaye papaam ak suma papa ñoo nekkoon xarit mu am benn paa bi waxoon ne dafa bëgg a jabar paa boobu tamit ak suma papa xarit lañ ci kattanu yàlla comme yàlla li moo dogal rek ndogal yàlla moom su waree am dafa am rek kooku ñëw na wan ma wax ko ne man soo bëggee nga ne jabar nga bëgg a mën a ko wax mu ne ko suma benn xarit doomam mu ne ko ku baax la dinaa dem si kooku ma utal la ko indi la ko mu ne ko soo ko amee am nga jabar su ne ko si ñu ma explainal ne ko ne paa bi loolu la ko wax paa bi si boppam tamit loolu la ma ko waxee mu ne loolu moo ko indi woon sama kër nekkoon njaboot ñëpp ñi nga xam ne xale yëpp këram lañ daan foyee da taay soo mu doon jaay ñu doon defar keema dam fa di jaay taay boobu noonu mu doon ñu jóge woon jàngi busura parce que busura mu dem bañoon di jàngi alxuraan solo mu sota jàng tubaab alxuraan la jàng
if I have to speak on his role as a father or his family character, as a family man, I would say he is one that is very dedicated to his family, to the needs of his family and the well-being of his family, regardless of what it means. And he was very fair with how he led us. He always prioritized our well-being and also our ability to express ourselves. He's always giving us the opportunity to express ourselves.
di yàlla defee suñ sëy bi dem na ne dindi na la sëy wax dëgg yàlla dafa ma téye téyewu ma woon jabaram rakal la ma téye woon man ni maa moom ñoo bokk benn fii.
Yet even as he juggled work, community service, and the demands of a growing family, Solo's passion for justice smoldered on.
Ndo ispiora so atana na so ale atana na dum politiko ko so wala politiko en ko ndo ispiora ja
before we met our politician kukla woon hotel la doon liggéey yàgg na di si kukli bi yàgg na ko ata lañu mu ci nekk politicien lu yàlla dogal ci jàmm bi rek ala kulli haal nga baax waaye bi ñu duggee ci politique bi tamit sori bi ñu nekkee ci hotel bi kat moo nit ñi benn lañu woon ñu daanu di jóg nekkaa nit ñi benn amul xaaj ak seen seetu kii Soose la seetu kii Olof la seetu kii Joolaa la ñëpp la boole woon def leen benn yàlla def na mu ñëw dugg ci politique bi tamit ci seen politique bi foog naa ne foofu la gën a laajiree ni ki sax démba politique bi mu nekkoon politique seetut APRC seetut UDP seetut doy seetut fenn solo ko amul mu teew
ni politiko wato be na si bari min na niyo ko ya ko ni ko ni solo la tala wo ni ben ya selia ni solo na be jam na de luulu aka mi mira ba ko ngana utemea wala mbona utemea
When the United Democratic Party, UDP, formed in 1996, he joined with purpose and rose through the ranks, ultimately serving as the National Organizing Secretary. For Solo, UDP was more than just a political party. It was a pathway toward a Gambia where democracy would thrive.
Solo binto politique United Democratic Party 1994 up to date man ma solo la woon solo nekkoon youth coordinator man ma nekk a businessman ñu bokk a parti waaye because of due to business man duma dee mun a participate lu bari solo ngalum bake wato ɓen bundin korle wato wata beya ngalum bake molum atiritan ala to banko la reforme la banko e taranya makat nka banko do moyle ila peso on ke kumol forma pare ka sonne pare to la dam paro di solo mo tilim dimbati adu mo so belam adu ali so benda solo na da taw politiko to ndebe do ko la gamtel tinna ta ya badi ya ko do na to nya to ro kai atu man ka funda do ko ne ko mbuka to tek atu yalla do ko to ko solo la ya mo mu ngi ndoro ne atu man ka funda do ala da gon to la ko development ko ala tawon bare industry fara do nyong nyane na korda to be ya rom abe ya to na te ya ala to be ya
fu nekk mu ko wasa waa APRC dañoo am taw ñoo ko suñu wàññi ko solo mooy dem foofu noonu wat seen doom sax bu fekkee ngeen dafa wat seen doom solo
naati en famille kewale en famille aɗa tuuɗi ɗiɗo ɗaɗo ketam waɗati min yaara a tendeyata aftoyeyata aɗa min ta boole ntene soloyenola toɓe yaara solo ay do ko kay yiɗiti ay do ko kay yiɗiti tene soloyde ko kene alhamdulillah rabbil hamdu solo le sanno ko jigoɓe keeri ni waɗi sida yiyay continuer ɓe dawoɗa camanoɓe dawoɗa solo ko na bele naɓe na radio goni nana ko supa kañana taw samo taw holo yaara mbenarawomo sana nana ko salo kono jam ani ana ko jigol kacca ani tulum ani jam na ko jigoni kono andata kolya jamane to wati doro mutamoyo wati doro bulamoyo nga umati na solo ni mwiko
léegi solo dema dañu war a am démonstration foog électoral bi foofu Then came April 14th, 2016, a day that would forever alter the course of Gambian history. On that day, Solo led a peaceful protest demanding electoral reform, a courageous stand against a regime that could no longer abide in silence.
Ano kaya kaya dapat hindi sudah malam ada ukur kan patul bere dia muka adi bere solo kaca lu kita jampana lu ti mai itu dia kita kamu lu ini kok ini kita ada di kawan mau jom ini kita mungkin kampung lebih kira kali kalau punya beri kita mani itu Ajar mani itu kau punya tu bantu hati, antu nak muka. Ini hari kau tu ada tanah lagi. Ni ada soal dia malu membuat dia jangan menjual dia jampak dia malu mengkuncikan. Soal dia malu pasal tu ni nak mungkin tak itu boleh tak. Aku ni semua cepat, foto jalan ni. Aku mulu baru berpala.
I called Solo and asked about the bureau at my guy, and I said, well, where are you? He said that I am somewhere, around Bamboo. And I said, what the hell are you doing there? Go to that bureau. That is instructed. He never asked me that. That was last time. Little did I know that he was out there really organizing the community. At that time,
Bankole. This partner, if I Bankola Pol, instead I found one fit and I found a little Banagidan. I look on up to know after I told you that they can buy Banagidan. This part of Bankola Pol. And that over Yama, did they have a way Naja, political Kapunti can killing, what more Edo Besterapuna. I know the benefit. And as I can't be Jamlan. Kaya ko pala sa jamun because ito yung kurang amoy ila ko bang pa reason la kan na tol don't talk to me and ko bang nabi para la ko dipon para ko mo leke e ko me dumbo to ko no ko me dumbo to ko mo nekada e ko me ya ona ala ko ala ko wan. No,
mam wonen, mam wofa, mam wala sentunya, mam lu, dara kena ke bangko itu dong, on arif, dan ini karena dia muba, dan kita cuma lah, arif busandi, aku tersiloka, ya, ipulasa, yang paling motoko, lagi kamu udah kepan motoko, lagi ini punto itu kamu jadi kan belum kepan motoko. Maka para semua. Yang sampai je, dia boleh betul nak kama. Alright. Idan solo sandi ni ko solo sandi ngam. Ya to sandi kai na loja. Luken jai aku na ni kai na loja. Kapu ba yang ko na mi ko na loja. Modum bom aku na mi kai na loja. Ibrahim Jama aku na mi kai na loja. Bilang todo dije mati wa kan karani by now we can one clear all these people, all these 5 people, 5 of us. You know how they see, then come to understanding you take a liberty the nine tabaro the pabuga you so when the makana responsible man la lata the kana say leader man ko to be ma solo sa the boy leader mu de wa solo leji mu de that follow you next tabaro mu yobu solo man ko leader solo leader. When a man will follow you, you don't follow your start, you follow the model. You just know and then mom them, why mom cannot do that? It's not possible. You can't tell mom, move the Dumuna Yobu solo, mobile solo, then still at them, how the other side, body, Nakalati, cooperative, body, knowledge, what them be communicate. Then they can communicate, you need not our solo, then you follow the father, that's the garage, if I make a second driver, yes, no. Then follow the you support. Then mu communicate for plan ya kasi ni ka no communicate to tawo salo bata ha be kana ko to fika nunte mo kin chamanda manja I constituency simata hawro mu yo ti ko male mu ma pala man ko na mu ma pala man ko na mu ma ko e boda man ko ba na made ya la ate bena journalist yo feka ni ko sema Mr. Sonko mana kona muna malanye na adef ni ma explain ko matiye bana bi tanga kare anon bana bi tawna man ma yo tiye bana bi muna tal man bana mo ta ni and that I told him freedom man ka ko matiye bana bi
Untuk wata nan da ni jibo ta mu kilo akara sina ma kan ay ni ti para go boro ako para ko asal pam ba ni boro ako ba ko jawo filen ti ako ako san jawo ba ni ni para que belum bertonyam, okannya baik, ini belum nak bertonyam. Belum nak bertonyam, okannya belum nak. Untuk ditanya anda, para kami itu mana dua kali. Jadi para yang dua kali, para dua kali ini nak dua kali. Apa yang nak dua kali? Baik tahu ni, lu kena terima pemotongnya. Apa yang kau terangkan itu selalu ada pemotongnya. Otomatis ini jalan itu lebih kawan. Ini minister lagi kena kan ini minister lagi soalnya orang dengar orang kami yang pun mana semua tu lupa boleh dia boleh kan jadi parah udah ada dia pun kantor motor dia motor kalau nyata no kan dia itu kan ini faham songkong itu itu bisa by 2 o'clock I got to commit that 2 o'clock here for and will physically to the police intervention headquarters. We try to find out if there are some like NIA, wrote from my office by Marina, but I didn't see any signs. And certainly I would not see any signs because the NIA would not allow anybody to go around here. So, by 7 in the evening, I got information from an insider that Solo, Fatma Tajawara, and the group, they are all taken to the NIA and they are being put aside.
dina ta da ina ba ta anya solo na ko ni karo ke hani ka di anga solo na ko to ya ko ma solo ate no ko ya ana ma ni man ka pare kana no mo ko ma la to ani ko del fani na jawa de karate ani fa na di kero ni ya ke di kero pada ka an ma so itu buru-buru ta ta sa di itu ya mungkin ko tuma ko par ka to kana to ko kita lihat mau buta waktu ni, dia buta pangkil kan, dia kita sedang fight, mulai itu kan kau jadi dia akan nyamun ni.
Beri ko alam, termasuk dan material, termasuk saya punya ini, ini kan dua termasuk, ini mesti tidak ada apa dapat. Ikon mereka mereka yang lalu, ikon dia mampu dia parang, ada ni orang parang dia parang, ini orang muda. Ala le alo oto ni en bo beti ko ni nanga ta
Aku ni pun faham sama. Ini lagi pun orang orang ada hari. Ini kan dia lebih tinggi. Kalau ni, aku yang faham, apa yang belum dia tahu. Next day, 6 o'clock, when you do that, you know them up. Cuma bela ceremony, the only day jam tell. Dia om na jeje la. Mone ma Mr. Sonko mane kona mone ma ni solo Eastern Together. Mane le jeje wa mane solo is dipping together mone ma wa. Mone ma ni le do le solo them day. By midnight, I confirmed that solo. And instructions were given to him to be taken to the study the NI school. He buried. Denied every ritual that he has done not know what the
Arrested and tortured in state custody. Solo paid the ultimate price for his beliefs. His sacrifice awakened a nation, igniting a fervor that will not be extinguished until change was won.
And that guy called up the meeting and said that every senior member of the executive must be out. So as long as we work, could have his children orphaned. There were those of us who are senior members of the executive who have now seen our grandchildren to lose their dead. Should we allow these things to go really without us taking the right action? And the right action was to go out and down the consequences. And yeah. And I said that he was our people. He had, I think maybe premonition. He had at one time said in one of our look, if I could be sacrificed for this regime to come and end, I'm prepared for my life.
Actually, that's not the one I want to show. This is the one I
No,
want
look
to
at
show.
that. Yung kanya dekla sadati. Pulbang ko kana yan kami ang body sadati.
Today, we remember Solo not just a name in our history, but as a beacon
He reminds us that democracy is born from the courage of those who dare to dream of a just society.
More or less unplanned. We went on a trip to visit a couple of his members, party members. Essentially, it was supposed to be from information we've gathered, known participants, and when they took the street, and it forced a lot of hands. So essentially, the political environment became very tense. There were people in the diaspora who said, look, now that this happened, although was taking and thinking to death, the political climate is so tense, needed to now be the community was taken to prison. Unity became also more desperate.
So, okay. The report, I do remember the report, and I do remember for Gambia report. So, I want to put you to the Maya for Gambia report, but I want to make it Antonia. I need to put you back. I think you know that. More than the hundred, I couldn't come more to the Mia, I could follow on Tamina. I work in Tamina. I almost of a
My father was not just my father, he was the father for many other people within our clan. But the fact that I understood that he was on a mission and he believed in what he was doing, he always had a justification, but the fact that I am not doing what I'm doing for this generation, I'm doing it for another generation, which you belong to.
We have a bunch of bad laws lined up in the parliament, including cybercrime, so-called cybercrime bills, a lot of bills that are coming with very problematic laws relating to trust. But essentially, in practice, the citizens are practically free to input in practice. So, because Barrow and Jammeh have different roles. I mean, there are no junglers now. You know, I've never heard of disappearances since Barrow came to power. So essentially, people don't get arrested, go and shoot at a corner and dump somewhere. I mean, under Jammeh that happened. All political actors in this country should be home. They should recognize how much Allah has done for this country. It is very rare to hear of political parties talking about Salah other than me. It's very rare. Look at that, not happening, but it's very rare. And we have to recognize what he went through. We have to recognize that he was a senior one and he was because of the cause. We have to recognize that. His membership of UTP should not be reason why anybody should really want to ignore what he has done.
In the land still trembling from decades of silence, a new dawn emerged, one that promised justice through the rule of law. Under a fresh democratic wind, the Gambia began to confront its past. No longer content with whispered truth, the people demanded clarity, and the government responded. One by one, the barriers to justice were stripped away. The constitutional path was calm, deliberate, unflinching. Every obstacle became a documented truth, every lie a summoned witness. State institutions, once cloaked in impunity, were now called to the stand, forced to look their own failures in the eye. And in the quiet but resolute chambers of the Truth, Reconciliation, and Reparations Commission, the seeds of deeper revelation were planted. The Gambia was not just seeking justice, it was reclaiming its soul. And for every Gambian and every generation yet to come, Solo Sandeng stands as a call to action, a legacy of unyielding spirit, and a reminder that true freedom is won, not without sacrifice, but with love and courage.
Rise up for Solo, a true solo that day. He didn't carry a
Wow, that was very emotional. I believe there are a lot of people in this room who have learned a lot about Solo today and the people that he was with. As Mr. Dawo mentioned in the documentary, every single political party should be talking about Solo. I will take it a step further, that every single Gambian, whether in politics or not, whether in the civil society organization, you should be talking about Solo. In the beginning, I said Solo died for a cause. And I said we need to ask ourselves, are we willing to live for that cause? With that in mind, if you have any questions about the foundation, if you have any comments that you want to make, the floor is open. Mohammed will be here to answer your questions. Since we have Mr. Dabo with us, who knows Solo a lot, we'll give him the mic to at least make a few remarks about Solo's work and his relationship with Solo.
Thank you very much, Mr. Brahman. Well, I think this documentary is a lesson for every Gambian. It's a lesson on sacrifices that one has to be prepared to give for your country what your country needs. And Solo is certainly the personification of Gambia's struggle against the dictatorship. The events of April 14 have been talked about because of its cruel nature, the cruel way it ended. But his contribution to the struggle in the Gambia against the dictatorship has started in 1996. He's done everything. He's operated bakeries in order to raise funds for his party. And we all know that in the Gambia, opposition parties are ill-funded. They are starved for funds. And the members of the party have to, if you may allow me to use this word, scrounge in order to get funds. And Solo, really, with a very good initiative, thought that one of the ways that we could raise funds really is to operate a bakery, and he started baking what we call tapadapa in Latrikunda. I remember vividly one of our rallies in Kafuta. The expense of that rally was single-handedly funded by Solo. In fact, the Friday before the rally, he came to me and said, Mr. Dabo, I can't understand what it damanakake, sign for the ngake. Meaning that, we have to share the burden with you. You cannot all the time be funding activities of the party. So we really have to share the burden of funding party activities. And he continued to do so. And he shared the little he had with the other less fortunate members of the party who did not have the means of really looking after themselves properly. He was very altruistic, and I think it is the sense of altruism that also influenced and informed his political decisions. One giving up his life for a country certainly would be an altruistic person. As I said, he was and he is our state Biko, suffering in Dagos and NIA, brutalized death. But we hope that what he died for has not yet been achieved. But then the drive must continue. That every Gambian must commit himself to realizing the dreams of Solo Sandin. Every Gambian must commit himself to seeing that the Public Order Act, which necessitated Solo Sandin's arrest and my arrest and members of the senior executive, is taken off our statute book. Every Gambian must be committed to seeing that we have a constitution that fits our purpose, not a constitution that only serves the interest of few cliques. And I believe that for Gambians to do honor to Solo, we must all put away our political colorations and put on our Gambianism and accept the fact that what he did was not for the United Democratic Party. What he did was for the people of the Gambia. Today, you have a proliferation of political parties in the Gambia because Solo died. If Solo did not die the way he died, we would not have had a change. And all those people who now vaunt, who now believe that they have a right to establish political party, would not have done so. We were all there in 1996. We are all there in 2016. So Solo certainly died for the Gambia, and those who really wish to see a better Gambia, I believe should espouse the beliefs of Solo, not only espouse it, but also work to achieve it. I'd like to thank the organizers of this event, making it coincide with my visit to Seattle, and it's a great honor of sharing this evening with you. We hope that many Gambians will learn from this, and that tomorrow we will celebrate Solo. We hope that tomorrow, that Westfield Junction, we will name it Solo Sandin Square.
Mr. Davo, thank you so much for that, for agreeing to talk, and your attendance is, it means a lot for us. Like you rightly mentioned, everyone should know about Solo, and that is the reason why we have this foundation, right, to keep his legacy going and keep fighting for the things that he died for. Advocacy is hard. It's not easy. It takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of work. It takes a lot of rejection. It takes a lot of ignoring. It takes a lot of people calling you names, all right? You know, like Mohammed said in his presentation, you're Dangabari Fitna, you know, Itamu Fitna Molit. You're gonna hear those things from people. But are you willing to ignore that and move forward with the conviction that you have that to change and take your country to the next level? If we don't have any questions, if you look at your seats, you will see, if you have, is there anyone who has a question or who wants to make a comment? Anyone?
My name is Seni Marana. I work with the Alcamba Times newspaper. I have a personal encounter and experience with Solo Sunday, In 2013, as a young reporter for The Point, I received a call in the afternoon that there will be a political rally in Tanje. And then I am invited to cover it. As a young, very passionate journalist, I, travel all the way to, Tanje to cover the political rally. And in that said political rally, there was a defection of 19 Green youths. These are diehard supporters of the former regime. All of you know, the Green youths. They can do anything for Jammeh. So I covered that particular story, and then it was published the following day, and I got arrested. And when I got arrested, in Gambia, then, if people if you're arrested by the regime, especially the NIA, nobody want to deal with you. Guess what? I received a call from Solo Sunday, and what he told me? He told me, I am ready to testify, in your case, whenever the need might. And, those were very difficult moments. I was charged with publication of false news with intent to cause fear and alarm to the public. And Solo and now nominated National Assembly member Fatoumata Jawara were also charged. So both trials were going simultaneously. I was being tried at Banjul Magistrate Court, and then Solo was being tried at Brikama Magistrate Court. So just to tell you, that Solo is a guy who will not leave you in a battlefield. I was like, even my own family, people were scared to deal with me because of, how dangerous it is during that particular period. I was tried for 11 months, and thanks to, one of a very good lawyer Kamara stood for me, and I became the first Gambian journalist to be acquitted in a criminal trial in many decades. Unbelievable, But guess what? 24 hours after my acquittal, they attempt to rearrest me. And that led me to go into exile in Dakar in 2014. So I returned back home in 2017. And in Dakar, guess what happened? That's where I came to know Mohamed Sandek, who since then, we had a very strong bond together. And, because of Solo, we believe in his cause, for, a Gambia that is free. Solo is the, he brought change, you like it or not. Without Solo standing, as the UDP leader alluded, there won't be any, change in the Gambia. Today, everyone is enjoying the freedom that Solo fight for. That's why I'm sad, in the sense that I expect this hall to be free. And not because of anything, but because of what Solo believe in. And Gambia is still in crossroad. Elections are coming. Draconian electoral laws are still in place. What are the opposition doing? I think this is one of the legacies that they should, fight, so that Solo can be happy, in his grave. So to me, Solo is, more than what Gambians think he is. He's a very peaceful man, and he will never leave you in a battlefield. Solo stood by us until I left Gambia. I came back, and everyone knows what happened. So this is my experience with Solo, and I hope those who believe in democracy will continue to fight to ensure that, Solo's legacy lives on. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Marina, for sharing that story with us. Any more questions? Maybe one or two more statements, and then we'll move to the next.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته Alhaji Ousseynou Mukunda Dabo e kondo ini la dimbal mumena be ini na no melbe be siloka ndeto mo samba si senete idoma Yaya Dabo alhamdulillah naate kafuta janne na ñolo mbake mota ñaani jaarme koto kuma kaw men benda mbe kontonna bari janni mbe diamala fanaw de ñim fo ñeko e ko mole kuma foye e ka Allah moy ni hakkilo la baake ndela konsan be dula dantan nedo Gambia bataketa ko meta amanke sawoti bari ngam men koroti janni men na kumo fala Gambian ko fang e man la fi toñala Gambian ko man la fi toñala nga diamul dala bari sollo mo ko men ka tarje ndol fang ni ala le yalo Gambia bala fa warta Gambia atanya akawa ko yato ndebota Gambia banko kan since 1983 ani bite mo manke bite de no kunda dabo loya ye yoro dabo lo ndebe filtra to mo yoro dabo nyol ba fofo yoro la bonko no min tata dogo on kan laaje bari na konsan be dam mbon seni kade mbon sedi kan e fana ndabe nyin ko kon kumo kon wolu mu nyinti ko mbede America jan asigen tebe men fo kan meme amantar wonya par ko min man sakunda ka finto men ke kata ID ka to di mo la banda de dan na konsan londe ay ndewum baake ni nga ko mira baake muka la fi sino no menyum banko kan sanji tan saba ani wala na ID hana expert at Gambia. There is no embassy can renew you ID card funina at America banko kanja say muna ken de Gambia man sakunda be findi la kata mo la ID di banda banko dum mo ID so anata na consent malo munebe kala sama sini bar be nyin kelo men be la laftale ntol fana ngata Gambia ngari taaje ngana gadi ni ndingol bondi nga banana fendi wol bondi isnaje ko ni moli ka den nkadom kata keda nyaaw nyara ni narita men ko din men baso la jani akinye suko tuma do be hani nyesuru kilin so la nyen bari dabo na konsan mu nyindulata ay ndewum baake andu mboj al nyanda nyin ko talal very seriously si aton ko buka bayde ala ni ndoma la nyaaton kaya kodo ana kafu nyol fatu sawo nyol ala yajal kulu menkata nyin sa do ko na jam andu hani sayin menna kato la fala pour men sa ken di Gambia se kana bari lafta men na doron ko min alaw dulato hakil tubake ya marolo mu doron alal hako boy ndinye bari ngal tentu ngal jay bake si aton ko Pausman ebe do ko men na wala al duwañi ndinne abe lolu suuto nin tilo kayra o kayra tan nanata doro abe wulla o damman kan nga tentu nga jey baake bari kon don mbafala assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah wa barakatuh
Barakabake. Anyone who want to say something instead?
Hello? I may not talk for long, but there's one thing I want to share. I know that I may not be the best person in the world in terms of being smart, being athletic, but before I die, before I'll eventually die, I want to at least accomplish something that can help people. Like, I want to be a person that people can look forward to, people could look back and know that I did something good. I want to know that my children, if I may have some, look towards the future and acknowledge that maybe they want to be like me someday. It's okay if they don't, because they're their own person. But me as a person, I want to be someone who can help people.
I think you are smart, I think you are brilliant, and I think you have a lot of courage, because there is this guy called 𝐒𝐿𝐇𝐄 when he was young, if you give him a mic, he trembles, and he's like that. So, yeah, you are very courageous, right?
Thank you, Mr. Darame.